Beat Making Basics.
What's going on YouTube? Beat Making Basics back again with another dope video. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Also give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you like the video content. Without further ado though, let's jump right into today's video. So what we're going to be doing is another viewer / subscriber topic here. We have Don Dada. All right. He said, look, fire video as always, but I have a question regarding snare rolls. I personally use the drum step sequencer, but I don't know how to do a snare roll on the drum step sequencer. Could you explain how I could do a snare roll on the drum step sequencer? Great video regardless. You've been nothing but helpful on my producer journey. Don Dada, no problem. As you see right here, I say thanks. And yes, I will definitely do a video on that. Here's today's video. It's for Don Dada and everybody else that has been wondering this. Let's go ahead and jump in. What I have here is a beat pretty much already done. It just needs a few transitions, maybe a snare, just to kind of really bring it home. I'm gonna let you hear the beat overall first, and then I'm gonna show you how you can add dope snare rolls using the step sequencer. All right, let's go. All right, so we got some flames going right here, but what can we do to take it to the next level? Well, a snare roll. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I have this snare already ready to go, plugged up, everything like that. And what we're gonna do is go over here to the scissors. And if you're not already on step sequencer, you go to the step sequencer, okay? And what we have here is 16 steps that you can plug in. What I would recommend you doing is change this from 16 steps to 64 steps. Okay. And then what you're going to do is go from this one to this one. Okay. And then wherever you want your snare roll to be. Okay. So like, let's say we want our snare roll to come in. I'm just going to zoom in by holding Option and scrolling over on my mouse. Usually the snare roll is going to either start at the beginning of the, this measure right here, right before it comes into the next section of the song, or it might start like right in the middle of that measure. So let's say if we want to do like a probably more of complex snare roll. So it's going to be this whole measure right here. And what I'm going to do, just so we can hear this sample, because it's in MIDI right now, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce it in place just so it turns it into an actual audio file. That way we can actually get a reference of how, this is sound. So just give me just a second, and then we're going to create the snare roll. All right, cool. So we have an audio file right here. I would recommend coming over here using the loop tool. Just loop just your last bar right before the next section of your song. And then you go ahead and click right here on your snare. I have a snare pulled up through the quick sampler, okay? Again, you're gonna go ahead and click on the scissors and then step sequencer and then change it to 64 steps. And what you'll do is, instead of having it right here, click on this part. This is gonna be the end. And so what you'll do is you'll just play this, and then you wanna just basically hear what you wanna do as far as a snare roll in your head. You can even mimic it with your mouth. You're like, or whatever it is gonna be, you want to have an idea of what you want to do in here, and I'm gonna show you how to lay it down. So let's just play this a couple times, and then we're gonna come up with a snare roll. I'm gonna show you how to input it. Maybe might need to give like an extra little measure, just kind of come right in. And actually I'm gonna do this on the hook, because that way I can actually really hear the beat as it should be with the snare roll. So let's just do that. So we're gonna do this. This is the pattern we're gonna go. It's gonna start right here at measure 12. It's gonna go tap 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 tap. Okay, that's what the snare roll is gonna be, and you can, and it might have even have a little sped up tap 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 tap. That's what it's gonna be. And so now we got to figure out how we're gonna input that. So we'll just listen to it for a little bit and then see where we're gonna go with it. All right, cool. So one thing you're gonna notice here, just so you can kind of see where to start your snare roll, is there was just a little white line that was coming and scrolling through here. You want to pay attention to that little white box that's going over each one of these steps, and where you see the white box go is like as far as where you should start your snare roll. So I'll give you an example. So I wanted my snare roll to start here, and you saw where that white box comes. So, all right, cool. So now I just entered in this first step. I wanted to go snap, 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 snap. So there's going to be 3 hits so far. And what I can do at this point now that I have the vibe of what I want to do, is take this loop and, make it smaller. So I'm only focusing on this one part. So you saw what I just did here. I sounded out what I wanted to do, and now we're just going to draw it in, or actually step it in. Now, so I want the pattern to go tap, 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 tap. All right. All right, now where we want to actually get a little bit more fancy is to do this, okay? So right now you have step on and off selected. That's where we can just pretty much go in here and draw steps. What you'll do instead is, if you want to get more fancy with that snare roll, is click here where you see velocity value. And then what you want to do is actually click on the up and down arrow right here and scroll down till you see note repeat. Click that, all right? And then this is where we're going to be able to add some more variation to that snare roll. So if you click on, once note repeat is selected, if you click on any of the notes and push up or down, the higher you push up, the more detailed the roll is going to be. Vice versa, the lower you go, the more simple the snare roll is going to be. So for instance, say if I wanted to speed up right here and then slow down right here, what I could do is, see how is this one little notch? I can come up here, maybe do it like 6 right here, do 4, and do 3, maybe do 2. And then what's going to happen is going to go tap, 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 tap. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to give a dope snare roll. Let's listen to it. Now let's listen to it with the actual, this like how it's going to sound if you just played it in your music. So let's check this out. And what I can actually do too to make this make sense, I can go ahead and click this step on and off here, and we can come to the beginning and start adding snares. I think it's going to be every other one like this. And say if I wanted to make any changes to this, I can always come back in here and make changes. I can make the loop small again. Come on. And I can come in here and make changes. Like, okay, if I thought that this snare roll wasn't all that great, I can come back in here, go to note repeat, and change things. I can come over here, make this smaller. Maybe make this a little smaller like so. And so I actually like how it sounds better that way because it was a little bit too much going on. But yeah, this is pretty much how you do snare rolls. You want to play around with using note repeat and step on and off. Okay, now you can do other cool things like use the velocity value, and on these notes that are like speeding up, you can kind of maybe take it like halfway down here and make it kind of rise up. So it starts off kind of slow, like low in velocity, and moves up to the top velocity. So let's listen to it. Now, sometimes it sounds good that way, sometimes it doesn't. So like if you don't want it to be like that, you can hold down Option and click on it. And it's going to take it back to the 100 to the to the velocity, the original velocity, excuse me. So this is how you do snare rolls. I could literally come in here and do different snare rolls throughout the whole beat, obviously. So like I can come in here and I can just drag this over by holding down Option and put this in all the hook parts. You feel me? And then I can do different snare rolls and different snare patterns based on where we are in the beat. So like the hooks are starting right here. So now let's come up with a snare pattern that would like go for a good lead in, if you will. Okay, so for the a lead in for the hook. So what I can do here is I can start here like so. Again, I can come over here and go to 64 steps. That's going to create the snare pattern. And I can, again, we're going to do the snare pattern on the last measure right before the hook comes in. And so what we'll do is we'll just create the loop, and now we can do a different snare pattern. Now maybe instead of going tat 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 tat, maybe we could do something different. Let's listen and see what we will want to do. So maybe we can go you know what I'm saying? Let's see what we'll take to do that. That's what we're gonna create. And see, this is key. Make sure you're on the right little section here. So like we were listening to right here, see how that wasn't moving? It's because we weren't in the right section. So click right there. So maybe we can start it right here. All right, cool. So that's how we will do it. And then, of course, to make it sound a little bit more like a snare roll, we're going to go to that note repeat. Push this up. Now let's listen to it. And then if you wanted to roll it a little bit more, you can always come in here, go to step on and off, and you can roll it some more. Note repeat. Okay, and so you get to see how we can create different snare rolls for different parts. So now I can zoom out and I say, all right, cool. I'm gonna take this snare roll. I'm gonna put this back over here in this section. This is right before the hook. I'm gonna take this and put this right here at the beginning, right before the hook. Boom. Then you can say, all right, cool. I just want to have like a snare pattern coming out right here, just something basic, no snare roll. All right, so now you can click off of that. Make sure this is selected. Go to 16 steps. Go to 64 steps. Boom. I don't know why I created something right there, but we can just create a basic snare pattern. So you know how it is every other one. All right, now we got a basic snare pattern that we can add in. Like right here, we can put this right here. This is the hook. Put it right here in the verse. Put it right here. You feel me? And so now let's listen to the song again towards from the beginning. I'll probably play it all the way into the second hook, and you can just see how it's gonna sound. So, and you'll see how also the beat is building with the snare rolls and everything like that. So let's jump into it. Let's listen. And you can kind of just hear how that just took the beat up to another level just by adding different variations. So I definitely recommend doing that too. Like when you're doing your snare rolls, don't just do the same snare roll and repeat it. Maybe do 2 different snare rolls, just like you saw in this tutorial, and add it to different places in your beat. You know, it'll help take your beats up to the next level, man. And you, of course, can mix this in to where it's not overwhelming and different things like that. You can do different panning tricks and stuff like that, you know, just to make sure, and do EQing and everything to make sure the snare is not, you know, overwhelming. Roll off a little bit of those highs. You feel me? This goes to one of the snare rolls. You'll see what I'm talking about. And let's say if you wanted to do something a little bit different as far as the actual snare pattern here, instead of just a basic pattern, just double click on it and say if I want to do tap, 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 tap. Again, all you're going to do is, based on the section, wherever it's going to be, you're going to just look at the white note as it's going through the pattern, and then you just hear it in your head and then click where you hear it. And see, now you have a good little visual representation of, if you want to do this pattern, you see how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Boom, skip 2 notes, boom, skip 1 note, boom, skip 2 notes. That's how you do it. So boom, skip 2 notes, boom, skip 1 note, skip 2 notes, and you can just see that's how you do that pattern. You feel me? You can just do different stuff with this snare roll with the patterns and everything, just, you know, just like with this technique that I'm showing you. But anyway, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Make sure, again, if you're brand new, get subscribed to the channel. Make sure you also give me a thumbs up if you're liking the video. Make sure you're also leaving comments, asking questions. I love to help, you know what I'm saying? Like just as you see, you know what I mean? And my website will be updated very soon. I will have courses on there. I will have different things that you can get, like, you know, drum kits, exclusive stuff, you know, one-on-ones that you could do with me. I might even have a membership. Maybe we can do some exclusive like weekly videos or different things like that. A lot of good stuff is in the mix, man. So stay tuned. Make sure you stay unplugged in. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Until the next one, we're out.